back to my channel. So let's talk about this new season of Mama June. So we got to see the new season of Mama June kick off where it ended off last season with Geno patiently awaiting his court date, where he may possibly looking at up to 10 years in prison. And June is done with all her legal stuff, but she's still along for the ride with Geno because at the time of the show they're still together. So June sneaks off and she calls her daughter Pumpkin one night, and she said that she's been going through it with Geno. She revealed that she no longer wants to be with Geno. She said he drinks a lot and he gets mean when he's drunk, and he doesn't like when June talks to her daughter. So she said that he's scared she'll leave him, so he keeps an eye on her. But when he finally passes out drunk for the night, June sneaks and calls her daughter Pumpkin. And for the longest, none of June's family have been a fan of Geno. Even after he quit using hard drugs, they still didn't like him. But June was trying to convince everybody that everything was peaches and cream, and they were all so happy and he treated her good. Well, she ends up calling her daughter Pumpkin that night, and she told Pumpkin the situation with Geno about how he's drinking all the time, acting crazy. He don't like her calling her daughters, and she said she's scared she's going to get pushed over the edge and relapse again dealing with Geno and his drinking. She said she can't take it anymore, so she came up with this master plan where she wanted Pumpkin to meet her at Geno's next court hearing, and June is either hoping that she'll get the easy way out and Geno will end up going to prison and she can leave him and be done with him then, or she's hoping if he doesn't go to prison that she'll be able to get away and leave with Pumpkin safely because there'll be police and security at the courthouse. But she doesn't plan on telling Geno she wants to leave him. She just kind of wants to leave him that day. And she explained to Pumpkin she's been wanting to leave him for the longest. She just couldn't figure out a safe way to do it. So she was urging Pumpkin, like, this is important. I really need you to show up. This is my one chance to get away. So Pumpkin decided she was going to go to Geno's court hearing so she could help her mom and get her mom away from this toxic relationship. But she wanted someone else to come with her. So she ended up convincing her Aunt Dodo, June's sister, and talked her into going to the courthouse to help rescue June from Geno. And then we see Pumpkin. So Pumpkin and Josh, they just moved into a nice big house in the country on a whole bunch of land, and she's currently, at the time of the show, pregnant with her second baby, and she's about to pop any time now. And Alana is still living with them. She has her own little headquarters downstairs in the basement, and this scares Josh, Pumpkin's husband, because Alana is about to be 16, and Josh remembers what he was up to when he was 16 and said all the boys that age only have one thing on their mind. And Pumpkin said Alana can't date until she's 16, but she's about to be turning 16 real quick at the time of this episode, and she swears up and down she isn't talking to anyone like that or really interested in any boys. But spoiler alert, I'm sure most of you guys already know this by now, but Alana actually has a boyfriend now. There's actually some controversy around her boyfriend because she started dating him right when she turned 16. We actually will see him this season because I saw pictures of him and video clips in the previews for this season. So she's 16 and he's 20, and a lot of people freaked out over the age difference. And I did some research on this, and Mama June was actually asked by Just Jared, which is an entertainment news website, and I'll leave them linked in the description. But they asked Mama June her thoughts on her daughter's relationship with a 20-year-old boy, and she said that his name is Draylon. And she said that she's met him before, and Alana and Draylon have been together for over a year now and are doing quite well. And June also said people need to realize that she's going to be 17 in August, and that Alana's older sister, Pumpkin, and Josh were the same age as they were. She added that Alana is getting a lot of hate because she's in an interracial relationship. He's older, but at the end of the day, Alana's not that 6-7-year-old child y'all fell in love with 11 years ago. Alana has grown up, and she's going to be graduating high school next year, guys. And like I said, we saw him in the preview, so we're going to see their relationship highlighted in this season. So that should be interesting to see how that all plays out. So yes, Pumpkin took her Aunt Dodo out for some coffee, and she ended up talking her into going with her to Alabama to try to go rescue June at Geno's court hearing. So Dodo agreed to go and tagged along. They're hoping this is the last time they got to make that long drive to Alabama. And they show up. They wait for a while. June and Geno go in the courthouse. They got their fingers crossed. And then so Mama June comes out at first, and it's looking all good, like their plan's going to go all smooth, and she's going to get the easy way out, thinking he went to prison. And then like a minute later, Geno tags along, and he's coming out the courthouse doors, and they realize that he didn't go to prison. So June ended up chickening out on leaving Geno. She got too scared since he didn't go to prison, and Pumpkin and Dodo were so upset. They said they were not going to make that drive to Alabama again, and June was hoping Geno would get sent to prison so she had the easy way out, and that didn't happen. So when his sentencing ended up getting postponed, I guess the breakup did too, and Pumpkin and Dodo still thought that June should have got the balls and still dumped Geno. They didn't understand why she wants to continue being in this toxic relationship, especially when she said it's affecting her mental health and it could possibly affect her sobriety later on in the road because she's having triggers and thoughts about it being around Geno all the time. And that's no bueno, because June has came way too far working on herself and with her sobriety to allow someone else to drag her down. So she needs to get out of that situation ASAP. And Pumpkin and Dodo are pretty much thinking, well, if you can't leave him now, they're pretty much thinking that she's never going to muster up the courage to end up leaving Geno, and that she's just pretty much all talk. And then a few days later, we see Pumpkin give birth to baby Bentley. He's a little cutie, little redhead baby. And June ended up missing the birth of her first grandson, and then she dipped out and avoided production for over 3 weeks. But then she later contacted producers. She said she wanted to meet with them at her Alabama hotel, where she revealed that she finally left Geno and went into hiding, and he had no idea where she was at, and she didn't want nobody to let him know. And she said that she has a lot of stuff to reveal about the relationship, and she's nervous what people are going to think. So that should be interesting to see all that tea get spilled in the next episode. And Geno, when he did leave his court hearing, he said at the next court date, he will either end up going to prison, but he's trying to have his lawyers fight to help him serve his time outside of prison, like in some kind of facility or rehab. And last I heard, he ended up going away, and June did leave him, spoiler alert. And so she has a new boyfriend and all that now, and I'll talk about that in a whole separate video. But yeah, so he ended up going away, but he went to some kind of long-term rehab for like up to a year. But that's it for this video, guys. Let me know your thoughts about everything in the comments below. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.